I overheard my wife's secret affair. She had no idea I was right behind her. I still remember the exact moment my world shattered. Not with a scream, not with a fight, but with a whisper I was never meant to hear. I had come home early that evening, my hands still carrying the weight of a long, exhausting day, my mind already imagining the quiet comfort of her smile. But as I stepped closer to the living room, I heard her voice, soft, trembling, and filled with something I had never heard before. Love, but not for me. I froze behind the half-open door, my heart pounding so loudly I feared it would expose me. And then I heard his name. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them the most. I stood there, invisible yet completely present, listening as the woman I had built my life around confessed feelings that didn't belong to me anymore. Each word felt like a blade, slow and deliberate, cutting through years of memories, trust, and love. My hands trembled, but I didn't move. I couldn't. It felt like if I stepped forward, everything would collapse instantly, and somehow I wasn't ready for that moment yet. The house felt different that day. The walls that once echoed laughter now seemed to close in around me. The photos hanging in the hallway, our vacations, our wedding day, the countless small moments we had captured, suddenly felt like relics of a life that no longer existed. I questioned everything in that instant. When had it changed? When had I stopped being enough? I quietly stepped back, my footsteps softer than my heartbeat, and left the house without making a sound. I didn't confront her, not that day, not because I was weak, but because I was broken in a way I didn't yet understand. The streets outside were alive with people going about their lives, unaware that mine had just fallen apart. I walked aimlessly, not caring where I was going. Every memory replayed in my mind like a cruel loop. The way she used to look at me, the way she used to hold my hand, the promises we made, all of it felt like a lie now. But the truth is, pain doesn't always explode. Sometimes it sinks in quietly, settling deep inside you like a storm waiting to rise. That night I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I just sat alone in the darkness, staring at nothing, feeling everything. The next few days were the hardest of my life. I went to work, smiled at people, answered questions, and pretended everything was normal. But inside, I was slowly falling apart. Every time I saw her, I wondered if she knew, if she could feel the distance growing between us. If she cared, and yet she continued as if nothing had changed. That was the most painful part, not the betrayal itself, but the normalcy that followed. The way she still asked how my day was, the way she still sat beside me at dinner, the way she still lived our life as if it hadn't already ended. I started noticing things I had ignored before. The late-night messages, the unexplained absences, the distant look in her eyes when she thought I wasn't paying attention. It wasn't sudden. It had been building for a long time, and I had been too blind or maybe too trusting to see it. But somewhere in that pain, something inside me began to change. At first, it was small. I started waking up earlier, going for long walks, trying to clear my mind. Then I began focusing on myself in ways I hadn't in years. I worked harder not to escape, but to rebuild. Piece by piece, I started reclaiming parts of myself I had lost in the relationship. I realized something important during that time. I had given so much of myself to her, to us, that I had forgotten who I was on my own. And maybe, just maybe, that was part of the problem. Weeks passed before I finally found the courage to face the truth. One evening I came home, sat across from her, and looked into her eyes, not with anger, not with hatred, but with a calm I didn't know I possessed. I didn't need to shout. I didn't need to accuse. The truth was already there, living silently between us. I told her what I had heard. For the first time I saw fear in her eyes. Not fear of losing me, but fear of being seen, of being exposed. She tried to explain, tried to justify, tried to hold on to something that was already gone. But I didn't interrupt. I didn't argue, because in that moment I understood something deeply painful yet incredibly freeing.